Okay, so let's have a look at this poem, The Bride Chest by Elynyd Lewis. We know that it was written in the mid-1930s, so this is before the Second World War, but it does come after the First World War, and I think that's important, so bear that in mind for later on. Let's look at the first verse first. The bride chest stands in the room, the little room, up the winding stair. So a bride chest is usually a large wooden trunk or chest in which girls collected items that would have been useful for them in their married life. So things like sheets and blankets, maybe underwear, clothes, a few household bits and pieces, and they would collect these through their teenage years to store them ready to get married. So the bride chest stands in the room. There's a little bit of personification there with the word stands, so it makes the bride chest the important focal point of this verse. The little room up the winding stair, that would presumably be an attic room, but there's a sense there of some sort of, I don't know, like a fairy tale, almost something at the top of a tower, the winding stair, and then you've got a kneeling girl and her yellow hair, like a princess stuck in a tower maybe. There's a sense of story or fairy tale there in the first verse. The light from the window falls on the kneeling girl. That word falls has a negative aspect. It doesn't say the light from the window glows or shines. It says falls. So it does have that downward negative aspect to it. So this girl, who is she? Why is she kneeling? Why do people kneel? They kneel to pray. They kneel in submission in front of someone else. They kneel at the altar of a church, for example, when they're getting married. So there are lots of implications here as to why she's kneeling. Sometimes you kneel because you've almost fallen to your knees with grief. So it could be any of those interpretations. She's in this little room at the top of the stairs. Voices and feet are forgotten. That might indicate that hidden away at the top of the house, it's away from the noise of other people, voices, the shuffling of feet, footsteps, for example. So it may be that she's hiding away in this attic room to get away from the noise downstairs. Here, peace begins, and that would indicate again that she's getting away from the noise. But it may also have something to do with the war. Think about that idea of the war being over and now it's peacetime. The mouth of the house is muffled. Now this is a bit of a strange one. If you think of the mouth of the house as being the front door, there was a custom in olden times that when somebody died, they would wrap a cloth around the door knocker so that when people were inside the house and grieving and didn't want to be disturbed, they wouldn't hear the door knock, or if they did, it was a muffled, quieter sound and it didn't disturb the people's grief in the house. This was a very, very common custom, and I feel that that's possibly what that's referring to here. So already we've got a sense of someone hiding away in an attic room, away from other people, perhaps grieving. The idea that silence wins, again, it may refer to the winning of the war, perhaps. We've got two words here then, peace and silence. So it may be the aftermath of the war where everything has now gone quiet. So just have a think about those ideas and see what you think about the first verse of this poem. Sorry for my shaky hands. Okay, have a look at those again and see if you can come up with a sort of story. Think about the story of this poem. Who is this girl and why is she up here in the attic with her bride chest? Is it her bride chest? Is it someone else's? We don't know at this point in the first verse. And then I'm going to move on to record a little video for you for verse 2.